child rowing prodigy Clark Dean. Approximately 30 regattas and countless practices later, Gemma now tells me what to do, as she should. Sammy is 6 foot something, and Clark Dean is a junior at Harvard on his way to the Olympics. Needless to say, I'm still pretty obsessed. Growing up here with all of you is the most beautiful thing that I've ever been a part of. I've gotten to see so many of you grow, not only in height, but in heart and in dedication to the sport and to each other. Every single day on this team is an adventure, pushing through weekly 2x3Ks or 4x10 minutes in the copy double, diving off the dock with Alexa to search for the seat the boys' quad dropped at the bottom of the bay, having a live fish flop around and stand in my boat as Nick Nistal put it on his Snapchat story, or getting yelled at by Mal for making friendship circles. Every night, I get to question whether my core is sore from rowing or from laughing so hard. There's truly an indescribable feeling that comes along with being on this team. It's a thus mix of fear, pressure, and excitement that pushes me to say yes when Andre asks me if I want to pull a 5K right after we got caught in the pouring rain mid 2x3 down the water. It's truly remarkable to wake up daily with the intention of becoming the best version of yourself and to be surrounded by people who are doing the same, not just for their own sake, but for the sake of the team. It's the trust that I have in my coaches and in my teammates that gets me through every stroke, every practice, and that allows me to find comfort in the chaos. This is home. This is where I'm the absolute happiest, and I'm very scared of the idea of not being here every day. But at the same time, the fact that I have been here almost every day for the past 5 years gives me the greatest sense of security and confidence in knowing that wherever I go and whatever I decide to do, with the lessons that I've learned here, I can handle it. Although I can never put into words how blessed I am to be a part of something so special, I will do my best to thank the people who have made this part of my life so meaningful. Elaine. I found myself in Elaine's office an abnormal amount of times over the years. Elaine, thank you for being the voice of reason to my ambition, and as much as I know I have been quite the annoyance over the years, I do think that together we've done some pretty cool things. Thank you for saving lightweight rowing with me, even if it was short-lived. And of course, thank you for 10 weeks of camp. My dad is currently taking bets on the over-under for how many weeks I can bargain for this year. Jim, you're the reason that I begged Elaine to add more weeks of camp. Thank you for taking us for adventure roads under the Julia Tuttle, for letting us play the 10-stroke game, for having us do capsize drills, for letting us do backwater races, and for patiently helping me fix my technique, because as Eduardo or Andre or any coach that has ever seen me row would say, I desperately need it. Daryl, thank you for opening the kitchen. Thank you for opening the kitchen for me on every birthday, and for fixing our launches each time they decided to only go backwards. Your work does not go unnoticed. Danny, not only do I owe you the most heartfelt thank you for being my rock freshman year through a pretty tough injury, and for helping Sam, Gemma, Zoe, Lola, and I have pretty much an undefeated season, but I also owe you the biggest thank you for being the reason I began rowing in the first place. Thank you, your mom, and of course Sam, for introducing me to a sport that I'm blindly in love with. Chris and James, with both what you say and how you act, you both remind me constantly that the sport and life is not just about winning. It's all about heart and teamwork and sportsmanship and compassion and being a good person. I'm so lucky to have you both as coaches, older brother type figures, and friends all in one. MBRC parents, thank you for the beautiful tent setups, for the sacrifices you make to get my teammates and I to practice into regattas, for the fact that every race I'm confident that when we reach the sprint, there are going to be people yelling, "Go Beach," for keeping my parents company in what can be long, hot days in Sarasota or Orlando, and for honestly treating each kid on this team like one of your own. I've received pep talks and hugs and car rides and high fives and band-aids from so many of you, and I'm so grateful. Steph. Hi. You taught me commitment and focus to the highest degree. With you, there was never room for any sort of dilly-dallying. Your team was the epitome of Andre's statement, don't spend time for nothing. I've always been inspired by how you never waited for anyone to do anything for you. If you wanted to get it done, you got it done. While on your team, I do remember being quite quiet and even perhaps intimidated. However, you molded me to take on positions of leadership as I got older. By teaching me what true teamwork is, you introduced me to the most magical part of this sport, the perfect balance between competition and working together. I remember pushing to be one of the first ones back for a run, and then as soon as I caught my breath, you would turn me around and send me back to run with the girls who hadn't finished yet. I would not be who I am today if it weren't for you. Since I've been here, this club has grown tremendously, and you truly have let us create an unshakable culture of winning. You've taught me that winning requires more than just showing up. You have to train more, rest more, and eat better than your competitors, and I've spent the past 6 years striving to reach your expectations. It took me quite some time to catch on to your sense of humor. I remember freshman year, the adaptive rack rolled over my foot right before our traditional summer 5K, and with a straight face, you told me to pull with one leg. And so the next day, as I'm pulling quite literally with one leg on the stretcher and the other on the floor, you looked at me like I was crazy. You had to sort of explain Sarina, it was a joke. A few months later, we went to Nautilus together to recruit kids for the club, and everyone's dressed really nicely, and you looked at me again with a straight face, and you said, start doing burpees. And so in the middle of the club fair, I started doing burpees, and again, you had to explain Sarina, it was a joke. You have this presence, this sense of command that makes you the best head coach that anyone could ever ask for. You might not make me cry as often as you make Brooke cry, but believing you and your club definitely will. I will forever hear you saying chest up at the couch as I'm running, and hopefully one day my 2K will be fast enough that you won't have to ask, when are you going to start building? So, Eduardo, I have never in my life met anyone with a kinder and more loving heart than Eduardo. When practice is tough, he makes sure to bring us apples, bananas, and granola bars. During quarantine, when he knew we were struggling to stay motivated, he organized Zoom practices with coaches and athletes from all over the world. Shout out to Mark. He set us up with a program called The Doom, which tracks our recovery. He constantly tells us how proud of us he is. He buys us brand new equipment without us ever even asking for it. And I've seen him literally wipe the snot off of Brooke's nose mid-stroke so she wouldn't have to slow down and compromise her pace. Personally, I have a tendency to forget that recovery is part of the training, and Eduardo always does everything in his power to make sure I remember. Whenever there's a beautiful sunset or sunrise, Eduardo tells to me, nobody paints like God. Eduardo, to me and to the team, there is no better way to describe you or your heart of gold than as gifts from God. Andre is the second father to me. He's hands down the biggest reason that I'm so passionate about this sport, and he is what has made this club so special to me. He's coached me every season that I've been here, and he's watched me grow up in a way not many people can say they have. Not only has he watched me grow up, but he's helped me to do it. He's taught all of us how to race with maturity and humility, and he has taught me to never be satisfied, to always push for more because he knew I was capable of it. He knows how and when to push me. He's not afraid to tell me that his grandmother can row better than me, or pull me aside and tell me straight up that my technique is slowing the entire boat down. Anyways, though at the same time, he's believed in me even when I did not believe in myself. Andre, everything I've done here, I've done in hopes of making you proud, because with everything that you do to support me, at the very least I owe you that. If given the choice, most athletes prefer to race in lanes 3 or 4. The wind is least problematic in the middle lane, and you can see all competitors on both sides. Personally, lane 0 is my favorite because it's closest to Andre. Andre, I've never trusted anyone as much as I trust you. I idolize you more than you will ever know, and you have no idea how much I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss your guidance through erg pieces. I'm going to miss you threatening to demote me from team cap if I don't PR. I'm going to miss you saying as you wish. I'm going to miss our walks on the beach, talking about mitochondria and muscle fibers. I'm going to miss being absolutely mesmerized by how intelligent you are, and I'm going to miss seeing Naya grow up. Andre, I have you to thank for everything. To my parents and my siblings, your devotion to my happiness means the absolute world to me. Giselle, my coaches love you, my teammates love you a little bit too much, and I love you. Thank you for putting up with me, standing by the front door and saying, let's go, let's go, let's go, for the hour before we have to leave for the regatta. Thank you for losing your voice from cheering so loud. Thank you for making every car ride to Sarasota or Orlando interesting, whether it be by claiming you've seen an alligator every 5 minutes. Like, I've been to Sarasota often, I've never seen an alligator on Alligator Alley. Gigi sees one every 5 seconds. Or by playing music from Frozen every time it's your turn to pick a song. I want more than anything for you to have a life fueled by passion like mine has been for the past 5 years. Caleb and I have actually always been quite close. In fact, when Caleb first joined varsity, we still shared a room. However, joining varsity also meant that Caleb would be up very late at night playing Xbox with Elon, Dario, Kobe, Sammy, etc. And so I like to go to sleep early, as you know. I moved out. In spite of this, Caleb being on varsity has actually made us closer than ever. While we no longer share a room, we now share friends and memories which are so important to me. I know our parents get frustrated when we team up against them, but I also know deep down that they're proud that they raise siblings that are so close. Both of you are my teammates for life. Mom and Dad, I know that I picked quite a time-consuming sport, and I definitely did not make it easier on you by refusing to get my driver's license until this year. But thank you for driving me to and from practice every day. Thank you for forgetting what it feels like to sleep in. Thank you for giving up your fall and spring weekends and winter and summer vacations. Thank you for getting accustomed to working whilst listening to the Fan of the Erg and a Big Booty remix blasting in the living room. And thank you for doing all of that with smiles on your faces. Thank you both for fully immersing yourselves in the interworks of MBRC, from helping there to be a voice for the athletes on the board of the club, to ensuring that race day lunches are delivered. I would be nowhere without you. Thank you for being my #1 fans. Alright, to the 2020-2021 Miami Detroit Club Varsity Women's Team. I cannot even begin to tell each of you how much of a privilege it has been to run alongside you. I know I may have frustrated a few of you with my 19-second 6 counts and throwing a legit tantrum every time Andre mentions a day off. But I'm insanely proud of the determination, commitment, and resilience this team has shown, especially this past season, training 13, 14, or 15 weeks virtually when the best parts of the season were taken away from us. All of you have challenged me to be a better athlete, and in doing so, you've made me a better person. A while ago, I sent a text that Sammy and Alex and Varsity Boys enjoyed editing that said, "At least for as long as I've been at this club, this is the varsity women's team with the most potential." And I stand by that. You are the fastest, most humble, most disciplined, most inclusive, and toughest team that I've ever been a part of. And as much as it kills me to leave, I trust that this program is going to be an extraordinary dance next year. I'm really looking forward to seeing where the sport takes each of you, and I cannot wait to see you guys at Hooch and hopefully race with or against some of you again. Trust me when I tell you never take a single second of this for granted. And when it hurts so bad that all you want to do is put the handle down, learn to find comfort in the chaos. Saying I will miss all of you is an understatement, and while knowing me, I'm sure I will be back soon. For today, goodbye. For tomorrow, good luck. And forever, go Beach.